Hi there, this is Jean Roman, and you are visiting for Dragonflies and Me. Thanks so much for joining me here today for another episode of Gardening 101. Today I'm going to talk about neem oil. And a lot of people, organic gardeners specifically, we use neem oil as a defense against bad bugs. And I have talked about companion planting as well as a few other things, in order to help minimize the damage that these pesky bugs, or what I call bad bugs, due to our garden. And so we're talking about cucumber beetles, blah, potato bugs, haha, and other insects that are going to damage tomato hornworms. And I did just do a video on how to organically work at preventing and getting rid of tomato worms so they do not destroy your tomato patch. But if this is your first time here, I'm Jean Roman, and I do podcasts. I do my YouTube channel for videos on cooking, on different recipes for my cookbook, as well as my new cookbook coming out soon. And then I do my Gardening 101 series here. So generally what I do with my Gardening 101 is I create a beautiful PowerPoint with pictures and all the information that I'm going to read to you. And during that time, I also interject with, personal experiences, but I do the PowerPoint so that you guys can take notes. You can pause this video, whether you're watching it at my blog at For Dragonflies and Me, or if you're watching it directly at YouTube. This allows you to take any notes, and it gives you a little bit more information rather than me just talking to you and you trying to catch up or, pause and write down. So that is the number one reason why I do that. And so generally what I do is I share my screen with you and I go through that. And that's what I'm going to do. But before I do, I just want to say thank you again for joining me here. If you are new and you aren't subscribed, please smash that subscribe button if you find value in this video and if you learned something. And then also hit the like button. So appreciate that. But even better, do both of those things and leave me a comment. I love your feedback. Have you used neem oil? What's been your experience? Do you like it, or do you use just insecticidal soaps? What is your method of pest management organically in your garden? One thing I promise I don't do is I don't guilt you, make you feel bad if you're not an organic gardener. Everybody has their choices and everybody has their preferences. That is the way I choose to garden, and I always, encourage others. But there's no shame here. I just am here to educate all of you on the benefits of organic gardening and ways to do it, and you can incorporate it with your traditional gardening as well. So that actually is incorrect, because historically and traditionally organic methods were always used, and then chemicals became more prevalent in the 60s and 70s. So either way, no shame here. And I just hope you can learn something and maybe switch over to using neem oil and a few other of the organic methods. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen. There we go, make it a slideshow. And presto magico, there it is. So welcome to For Dragonflies and Me, tips and tricks for the home and garden. So today's topic, again, is the ultimate guide to using neem oil for organic pest control management, pros and cons, and tips. So there are some people that feel that neem oil doesn't only hinder the bad bugs, but it also can impact your beneficial insects, which was another video that I did on how to encourage beneficial insects, and also companion planting. So those links will be here and at my blog. And so generally what I do is I do direct you over to my blog at fordragonfliesandme.com to get a little bit more information. So be sure to subscribe there. And here, friends. So for those of you who have followed me over the years, you all know that I'm a huge advocate for organic methods in gardening, and I try to incorporate as many of those aspects as I can, including companion planting and other natural pesticides, herbicides, and fertilizers in my garden. For instance, I only use a fish emulsion in my garden for a fertilizer, and I use it as both a foliar spray as well as soil drenching. So for years, I have used neem oil, cayenne cayenne pepper, insecticidal soaps, and even organic white flour to rid my garden of those nasty bugs that want to damage all of our beautiful plants. And you may be thinking, organic white flour, what in the world would she use white flour for? Well, friends, potato bugs. So if you actually, a sifter, when you are like making gravy and you pour it through to get all um, the chunks out and you want a smooth gravy, that colander, that very fine mesh colander, you put some white organic flour in there. Again, it doesn't have to be organic. You can use whole wheat, whatever, but white is a little more gummy. And so when you notice the potato bugs, and so when those potato bugs start to come and you see them munching on your leaves, well, you just sprinkle some white organic flour on it and they start eating that and it gums them up and they choke and they die. And that's what we want. So we want to get rid of those. But today we are talking about neem oil, but there is, I am going to be doing another video on multiple ways for organic pest management. So while chemical pesticides have long been used to control pests in agriculture, they've proven to have many negative effects on the environment as well as human health. And fortunately, there is a natural and organic solution for pest management, and that is neem oil. So here are some good bugs and some bad bugs. Definitely our honeybees in the middle on the lavender are good. And then we can see there are a few other little bad bugs here going on, but this one at the end is a praying mantis eating a bad bug. So we definitely like praying mantids. But neem oil, you may be wondering, what is neem oil and where does it come from? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Neem oil is derived from the seeds of the neem tree. Oh my gosh, folks, I have not had enough caffeine yet today. I'm stumbling over my words, so I apologize, friends. But and it has been used for centuries in traditional medicine as well as agriculture. So in today's episode, we're going to dive into the science behind neem oil's pest repelling properties and explore its various applications. I'm also going to discuss the pros and cons of using neem oil and how to properly apply it and safety precautions to keep in mind. So let's get rolling. So what is neem oil and how does it work? So neem oil is a vegetable oil that is extracted from the seeds of the neem tree. And so it contains a variety of compounds that give it its pest repelling properties, including, I'm going to try not to butcher these words, but as Deritin, nimbin, and salinin. So these compounds disrupt the feeding and reproduction of insects, making it an effective and natural pesticide. So in addition, neem oil has antifungal and antibacterial properties, which can help prevent and spread diseases. So right there, you may be saying, okay, well, like I mentioned earlier, if it is harming and killing the bad bugs, is it doing it to the good bugs? And unfortunately, it may have some negative effects. But the way you can avoid that, and we will talk a little bit about this coming up, but the way to avoid that is when you see, pest management, the preventative pest management is the key. You want to be in your garden, and I've said this in so many more of my other videos, you need to be active in your garden. You can't just plant something and then walk away for a week and wait for something to happen. You need to be able to go out there frequently. I do multiple times a day, but I have that luxury and I do consider it a luxury. And so I'm checking for bugs. I'm looking underneath my leaves, and that's a key when you have zucchini, cucumbers, tomatoes, not so much tomatoes, but any cucurbit. So your zucchinis, your cucumbers, any type of squash, winter squash, summer squash, those pests, generally you will see the adults, but what you miss is when they lay their eggs. And so you may start seeing some holes in the leaves of your plants, your blossoms, and then you need to be making sure that you're looking under the leaves of your plants to see if there's any eggs. I'm going to post a picture later on one of my social medias, probably both Facebook and Instagram, on what that looks like. So generally what they look like is like little gold or black dots, and some of them are in a little triangle, some of them are actually in a diamond, and some of them are in a fan. It's actually quite amazing the intricacy of the way these insects lay their eggs. It's quite beautiful. And there's different stages of development for those eggs, because they'll start out black and then they go gold and then they hatch. So you want to kill those eggs before they hatch, because that is where you're going to minimize and stop the destruction of your plants. And so again, I cannot admonish you enough to make sure you are working in your garden and checking under the leaves. And with tomato plants, you definitely want to watch the tops of your plants. Tomato worms generally start from the top and work their way down. And you'll start seeing your stems of your tomato plants where the leaves are totally gone and they're just bare stems. I think I have a picture. I'm going to try to post that later too. But that is your key to tomato worms and watching for them. But if you have potato bugs, you'll actually see them breeding. I think I actually have a picture in here of them breeding and laying eggs. But that is your key. And so the point here is when you see those insects, spray the insect and then kill it. But be cautious not to spray the whole plant because you don't want to harm your beneficial insects as well. So moving on. All right, so what are the benefits of using neem oil for pest management? So one of the main benefits of using neem oil for pest management is that it is a natural and organic solution. Unlike chemical pesticides, neem oil does not leave harmful residues on plants or in the environment. And it also is biodegradable. So which means it breaks down quickly and doesn't accumulate in the soil, which is a good thing because we don't want to hurt our little worm friends, right? So it breaks down quickly, which is key. So additionally, neem oil is effective against a wide range of pests, including aphids, spider mites, whiteflies, and thrips. It can also be used to control fungal diseases like powdery mildew and rust, which generally happen on your cucurbits. So again, squash, cucumbers, any of those plants. So neem oil has a lot of benefits. You just have to manage it, you know, proactively and thinking about your beneficial insects that you don't want to harm. So but again, the fact that it breaks down quickly and doesn't leach into your soil and harm any of your worms is key. So and there's a couple more, so let's keep on going. So more benefits. Another benefit of neem oil is that it is easy to use. It really is. It can be applied as a foliar spray or a soil drench, and it can be used on a variety of plants, including vegetables, fruits, and ornamentals as well. So if you have rose beetles, kill them. Oh, beautiful roses, and how those rose beetles just destroy your plant. Neem oil can also be used as a preventative measure, which is what I'm always advocating. And what this means is you can apply it before pests or diseases appear to help them at bay. So you may be asking, well, isn't that going to also hurt your good bugs, your beneficial insects? Again, you want to use this cautiously and minimally as much as possible. Yes, you can do it as a soil drench. So if you have ants, that's a great way to get rid of your ants. So again, it does not stay in your soil or on your plants long term. So let's talk about some of the drawbacks and limitations of neem oil. So while neem oil has many benefits, it also has some potential drawbacks and limitations. And we've talked a little bit about that already. But one of the main limitations is that it does not provide immediate results. Neem oil works by disrupting the feeding and reproduction of pests populations. Additionally, neem oil can be less effective in high temperatures or direct sunlight, which can cause it to break down more quickly. So spraying underneath the leaves where your good bugs are not generally going, that is a beneficial way to use it. So another potential drawback of neem oil is that it can have a strong smell. So does fish emulsion, but it's great. Some people describe the smell as an unpleasant or even offensive. And the smell usually dissipates within a few hours of application. And if you've used fish emulsion or any type of fish fertilizer, you probably have thought about that as well. So that is the least of my concerns, is how it smells. So finally, neem oil should not be used on plants that are sensitive to oil-based products such as orchids or ferns. So we're talking more about vegetables here. I'm not really going into any type of flower or ornamental stuff here. So it's always important to test neem oil on a small area of a plant before applying it to an entire plant. So, just like medication, if you're using a lotion or a salve, you're not going to put it all over you. You're going to test in a little spot. Same thing here. Plants are also sensitive. So how to properly apply neem oil for pest management. So you want to mix your neem oil and water according to the instructions on the product label. The ratio of neem oil to water will vary depending on the concentration of the product you're purchasing. So fill a spray bottle with neem oil solution, spray the solution evenly over the entire plant, making sure to cover both the top and the bottom of the leaves. Again, the bottom of the leaves is where you need to be looking. So reapply that neem oil solution every 7 to 14 days or as needed. And it is very important to apply that neem oil in the early morning or late evening when the temperatures are cooler and the sun is not as strong. And this will help prevent the oil from evaporating too quickly. Oh, there's one of our besties, our praying mantis. So let's talk about a few tips for maximizing the effectiveness of your neem oil. And so following these tips will definitely help you. Use neem oil as a preventative measure. Apply it before pests or diseases appear to help keep them at bay. So underneath your leaves especially, and along the soil of the base of your plant. Use neem oil in combination with other organic pest management, such as companion planting and crop rotation, which I always talk about to you guys. Apply it regularly, so every 7 to 14 days or as needed. Store neem oil in a cool, dry place away from direct sunlight. So you probably don't want to store it in your garage or in a potting shed. If you have a basement, a cellar or a storage unit, a storage area in your basement is probably a better place to store it. And always read and follow the instructions on the package label. And I tell you guys that even with seed packages and plant labels. So that's important. There they are, cucumber beetles and potato bugs. Potato bugs eating away, and you can just see how they've destroyed that leaf of that potato plant. Oh my gosh, they're terrible. And there they are breeding. So neem oil is effective against a wide range of pests, including aphids, spider mites, whiteflies, thrips, mealybugs, scale insects, leaf hoppers, and most caterpillars. So in your beetles like this, you really need to make sure that you are applying it underneath the leaves. So when they are destroying them, they're eating it, because remember, it affects their digestive and reproductive systems. So this is where you want to hit them, because neem oil on their hard shells does not impact them as much as like the soft body of a caterpillar. So use it also as a control and prevent fungal diseases such as powdery mildew, rust, and black spot. And black spot is more on your tomato plants. Rust and powdery mildew is going to be more prevalent in your cucurbits. So marigolds, what are those? Companion plants. So using neem oil in combination with other organic pest managements is a key way to ensure your garden is going to develop to its highest potential. So neem oil can be used in a combination with other organic pest management methods to maximize its effectiveness. And one effective method is companion planting, which involves planting certain plants together to attract beneficial insects and deter pests. So for example, planting marigolds or nasturtiums near tomatoes can help repel aphids and whiteflies. And planting basil and a few other things also helps, including onions. So another method is crop rotation, which involves planting different crops in different areas each year to prevent the buildup of pests and diseases in the soil. And this can definitely help to reduce the use of any pesticides, including neem oil. The only thing I always tell people not to rotate is tomatoes, because there is, I guess it's an old adage where people believe that if you plant your tomatoes in the same garden spot each year, your tomatoes actually get more and more flavorful. The soil becomes adapted to that. So whether or not that's actually scientific, I'm not sure, but I do it. So, and there's my carrots love tomatoes. Secrets of companion planting. This is the key to that. So while neem oil is a natural and organic solution for pest management, it's also very important to take safety precautions when using it. So here's a few considerations to keep in mind. Neem oil should not be ingested or inhaled. It is toxic to humans and can cause skin irritation, nausea, and other symptoms if ingested or inhaled. So wear gloves and protective clothing when you're using neem oil, and even goggles if you want to protect your eyes. There's nothing wrong with that. Keep neem oil out of the reach of children and pets. Don't let your dog or your cat walk around in the garden with you when you are applying this. It can cause death. So do not apply neem oil to plants that are sensitive to oil-based products such as orchids or ferns. Again, we're not talking about flowering or ornamentals. We're talking primarily about vegetables here. And always read and follow the package instructions on the product labels of everything you use. So in conclusion, neem oil is a natural and organic solution for pest management that has been used for centuries in traditional medicine and agriculture. It's effective against a wide range of pests and can be also used to prevent and control fungal diseases. So while neem oil has some potential drawbacks and limitations, it is easy to use and does not leave harmful residues on plants or the environment. So by following the tips and safety precautions outlined in today's episode, you will successfully incorporate and can neem oil into your organic pest management strategy. So friends, thank you for joining me. And if you would like to see more episodes like this one, please visit me at my blog for dragonfliesandme.com and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a beat, as well as here at my YouTube channel. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and like button. And like I always say, leave me a comment. What experience have you had with neem oil? Positive, negative, you love it, you hate it. What else do you use? What other pest management techniques do you implement into your garden? But what my ultimate goal here is always to encourage you to garden. And don't be dismayed, again, if you don't have a large garden plot, you can use containers, be creative. I talk about that all the time. So again, be sure to smash that subscribe button, smash the like button, and leave me a comment. I love your feedback. So thank you so much for joining me here today. And as always, I am so appreciative of your following me and your, always giving me some feedback. But I'm going to stop sharing now. And I'm going to say goodbye. And like I always say, friends, thank you so much again for joining me. Be sure to eat fresh, shop local, and have a happy day. And I'll see you later in the kitchen and the garden. Bye now.